I'm Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and today we're going to talk about the progression of my books. It became apparent not too long ago when I put some information about my books on Facebook that the fact that some of them had changed, there had been several iterations of the book over the years, was a little confusing to people, and they didn't know what was the latest version. So I want to go through that today. This will be a series covering all my books. The first one that I'd like to talk about, because it's changed probably the most, is the first book that I ever did. It's Plants of the Metroplex. And Plants of the Metroplex was originally done because there was no book in the North Texas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area, that covered color photographs and information of landscaping plants. So Trent Humphreys, my partner on the original publication, you can see we were a couple of dapper young fellows there. This was 1975. But the first book had decent photography. It had pretty basic information about the plants, and it had information in the front of the book about how to plant and how to maintain the books that was very, very sketchy, and also was before I had become organic. So it covered synthetic fertilizers and toxic pest control products. The first one actually was a GBC bound book, and then we did the perfect binding you see there. Then I came up with the brilliant idea to make it a little bit more dramatic cover. I thought black bamboo was beautiful, and so I thought everybody would like to have a cover that had black bamboo. This book, you can see I had a little more hair in those days, was actually done in conjunction with Lambert Landscape Company when I was part of that organization. It was still before I had become organic, so the information in the front of the book as far as bed preparation and maintenance, fertilizing and all was still prior to my learning how to be organic. The book photography was greatly improved. In the tree section we put 2 photographs of each tree, an overall and a close-up, so people could identify the trees better. That's some pretty good information. As you can see, that a lot more thorough. We put in some easy reference lists and changed a lot of the photography to be improved. And so it was a step in the right direction, but still prior to my becoming a born-again organic gardener. This was when we started to get into organics. We started to add family shots each time we reprinted. This was the 6th printing in 1988. This was actually right at the time I started learning about organics and becoming an organic gardener, because I started looking at it in the beginning when Logan was born, and you can see she's still pretty young in that shot. This is today's most current version of Plants of the Metroplex. A couple of things. People use this book in places other than North Texas, which it was originally written for, because a lot of these plants are available and useful in a much wider area. You can see the date on this printing was 2006, and you can see Judy, Logan, and I, and one of our dogs that we had back in those days. At this point, the information is totally organic. We added more information in the way of drawings as far as how to prepare beds, how to plant trees properly, and more information on how to prune trees and maintain trees properly. We added charts. We improved the photography quite a bit, and this is the one that's still on the market. Very cost effective, and like I said, good for really more than just the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Well, that was my first book. It's gone through the greatest number of iterations, I guess. In the next series, we'll talk about the book that has changed at least that much, and it's called The Organic Manual.